everyone, welcome back to Community.tm podcast. This is Community Pink Room. This is the place where we're having conversations, but most importantly, this is series 2, guys. Series 2. So guess what? When there's a new series, there's more conversations, and when there's more conversations, there's more different conversations, and when there's more different conversations, there's more room for self-growth, there's more room for growth with one another, and that is what we are here to do at Community.tm. I hope you guys have been doing really well. I hope you guys really enjoyed the last series, and I hope that you guys are growing, because that is super important to do that in today's world. And I hope you're growing with the people around you so that we can all elevate and live our best lives. So guys, I wonder what series 2 is going to be about. So series 2, if you don't already know, will have 5 episodes in the series, and then we have series 3, series 4, and series 5 still left to go. But today we are starting series number 2 and episode 1, and it is called Heartbreak to Freedom. Okay, so there's a lot to do around Heartbreak to Freedom, but I really want to focus and be intentional on what this really means. And for me, this kind of generates in a place of pain. Not for me, like I don't really feel pain right now because I've grown past it. I'm in the freedom part, but I was in the heartbreak part. And it's crazy because it's like heartbreak, but also like confusion. Oh my gosh, it's a bunch of stuff. So what I want to discuss in this episode is like, don't stress yourself that you aren't over it, over the relationship, over what had hurt you. Work through it with yourself. Whatever triggers you, start with working and solving that through. Realize and or come to terms with the fact that this person was not meant to be in your life currently, and if you are meant to be together, then you both will eventually be together in the future. Focus on your purpose, what you're here to do. Seeing other people may help. However, sometimes it's a deeper situation than that. It's a subconscious situation, and better is out there for you that fits your love language. It's funny because and I've said this so many times this past year, is that I was a person who was like, okay, I like relationships. I'm into romance, but I don't want a relationship. I'm not ready for a relationship. I don't understand how, these girls are ready to kiss these people, these guys. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand how anyone was ready to kiss anyone. I was just not there. I kind of was in the mentality of just like hanging out with my cousins. That's about it. And like with my siblings and like living life, having fun. Yeah, we can hang out after school and go to places, go to the movies, but I wasn't ready to be physical or anything like that. But I got myself into a situation, and it caused me heartbreak. It's funny because with this mentality, it was still my mentality while I was in that relationship, but the reason why I say it was heartbreak is because I really dealt with a lot of confusion within it, and it was like, okay, I'm just giving in. Like I see how we match, I see how we're together, blah 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 blah. Okay, I'll put myself into this situation fully, and I'll do my best to see if this can work. And it didn't. And now thinking I have different perception on it, but before I was confused, because anytime that I try to go outside and try to like meet new people, it was always with ties to that relationship. So it's like, I'm going to meet new people so that I can get over this relationship. I'm gonna go talk to that person, so hopefully I can get over that relationship. I wouldn't say that worked for me. What worked for me was to just kind of let time do its duty. And which was fill my life with all different types of experiences and let me really become who I am to be at this stage of my life. Let me not focus on this relationship being the whole of my life. Let time show me that what it was. Let time show me who I am and everything like that. That kind of worked for me. But don't stress. I think one thing that really helped me was I was literally carefree during, before, and after. So don't stress about it. There's no need to stress about it. People on a more deeper level will say this person was like a soulmate, this person was like a twin flame, this person was a life partner, anything like that. For me, I'm not going to I could say that this person was like a soulmate for me. So for me, that means okay, as a spiritual person, a soulmate to me meant a lot of things. A lot of people outside could have been my soulmate, and were my soulmate. So like for me to have that one person be my soulmate, was, yeah, sure, I identify with that, but like I saw a lot of people be also my soulmate. So this was a soulmate relationship, if you will. And as they say, soulmate relationship is here to teach you a lesson. And I learned a lot. Like even to this day, I think, wow, like I learned so much that like I could be, the next person who I meet could be like the one, because I just learned so much of who I am, what I want, what I don't want, what I this, what I that. It just, the list goes on. What not to do, taking in red flags, how much to give, how you have to be truthful, and all these things I learned, and which I'm thankful for this relationship. But during the time, it was very hard because they say a soulmate is like someone who you really relate with. Like it said, I was even on like Google the other day, and it was saying like a soulmate is like someone who you don't even have to communicate. You just understand. Sorry for any drilling. I hope that stops. A soulmate is for, you don't even have to communicate. You just understand each other. And that definitely was the case. However, that's one of the problems, is that in a real relationship, hope he does, okay, sorry if you hear any banging, oh my gosh, but in a real relationship, you have to communicate. That's like period. And that's what I learned now. And in that relationship, we weren't communicating. There were so many things that I was going through, and like even being like a spiritual person in this world, I have to deal with a lot of things that just pop up and come through me and move through me and all these type of things. And I never voiced that to my partner at the time, because I didn't feel like it was necessary or that it would be understood. And so certain things like that are not really I don't want to say toxic, but they're not very, it doesn't help in the communication process, because that's already something that you're hiding, something that who essentially you are. So anyways, moral of the story before I start ranting on is that this soulmate connection was very hard, because I didn't at the time really understand it as a soulmate connection. I understood it as just like a person who I was in a relationship with. And there was lots of things that triggered me at the time, and there was a lot of things that my subconscious just couldn't clear. So I was always like going back to a thought, even if I was with someone new or if I was talking to somebody new. A lot of things that I relate to were because of that relationship, and it wasn't in the way that I wanted it, on how I wanted it to be. So that's what I started to work on. I started to work on what triggered me, and anything that I could do on my own, in a day I would do. So for example, there was a lot of things that triggered me, but I would just take, okay, so say for example, the person does a sport that you really like. So now every time that you are watching this sport, you kind of in a way feel triggered because you're like remembered of that person every time that sport comes on. I think if you take that moment, a moment to really be like, okay, this is a sport that I love. This sport means this to me. I grew up with this sport. I had fun with this sport. This sport is coming through me. I relate to how that person enjoys that sport, plays that sport, is good at that sport, but I will not allow for the joy in me for this sport to decline because of a past relationship, past moments, right? So that's how you kind of have to kind of go through what triggers you in order to kind of gain back or to grow in what you feel like you lost. You just have to go through those triggers one by one. Slow and steady wins the race. Once I did a lot of that, I realized some of it was just like memory, so like what was in my subconscious, and that type of stuff you just kind of have to let go with time and work on it as well. Like if it pops up, really like be cautious of it and then try to like fill it with something positive or fill it with a new thought, but don't try to like let that thought deteriorate you and make you think it's going to stay in you forever, because it won't. Just keep like monitoring it. It's like a band-aid, you know, it's like a bruise or a cut. It'll be there, it'll show for a while, but then you have to like, you know, take care of it, you know, put some bandages, wrap it up, be soft, be gentle onto it. Don't strain it too much, you know, things of that nature. That's what you have to do in order to take care of those triggers sometimes, and the memories that are in your head. Yeah, I want to take a moment to like slow down. I just got back and I'm drinking this this juice. I never had it before. I like to make juices that I make at my own, but this juice is like getting me kind of oozing. It's almost like coffee, and I've been up early. I hope I don't crash. It's only been 3 hours. I've been up since 6 a.m., something like that. And it's 9:14 a.m. But I hope it'll all work out. I'm not worried about it. In order to get away from a heartbreak, from holding us back, and for us to feel free, is for us to realize that this person is not meant to be in our life currently. We are meant to be focusing on something else. We are meant to be growing ourselves. We are meant to be doing anything that involves our life and the people who love us around us. That is what our life is to be currently around, and not focusing on someone who has left because they are meant to leave at that time. Okay, so focus on your purpose and what you're here to do, and once you kind of figure that out, or at least dabble into some things that really not, and here's an important fact, not take your mind off of it, but like genuinely you're doing tasks, or genuinely you're going to places to learn about yourself, to grow your business, let's say, to grow, you know, your surroundings, anything like that. That is what you must focus on, because that in essence will allow you to maintain who you are. Yes, kind of without that person, but gain for you the clarity of where you're supposed to go next and what you're supposed to do next. Because when you're in the vibration of like, I need this person here, this person has to be here right now, you might be kind of not in the clarity of like what I'm supposed to be doing right now, because you never know, you might have another calling, but because we're so focused on the past and so forth, and this was right for us, we're not really giving ourselves the opportunity to get away from those patterns, those thought patterns. And seeing other people may help. However, sometimes it's a deeper situation, a subconscious situation. Give yourself time and realize that maybe why it didn't work. And that's another thing, is that be truthful to yourself. The crazy thing is that I learned so much. Like, I learned to trust my instincts. I learned to love myself. I learned to love how I felt, like honor how I feel. But I don't know. I think when you're not aware of your intuition power, and you don't, you kind of haven't had too much practice on that, or like lessons or teachings or anything on your intuition, then it you just take it as another thought. You're like, oh, well, that wasn't cool, but you don't take it as how it was presented, which was, this is a red flag, this is not going to work out. So take those as well. It's important to realize and be truthful to yourself. During, before, after the relationship, be like, was that really what I really wanted? Did that truly make me a better me? Was that relationship allowing me to become the me that I know I am becoming? You know what I mean? And both sides might feel like the answer is no. One might feel like the answer is yes. Both might feel like the answer is yes. Just let time do its piece and know that everything will work out. The funny thing about that is, even if it's 2 yeses, still dive deep, because it was a yes for me as well. And yeses, it's hard, because when it's a soulmate connection, then you like, saying yes is because you both are still not done teaching each other the lesson that has to be learned. So I honor that. And so if that's that connection, if it's a soulmate connection, then I totally honor that. We all have to do the duty. But if it's 2 yeses, just know that that still doesn't mean that that is who you are meant, like, that this relationship is going to allow you to be who you are meant to be. And that this relationship is the one that you've been waiting all your life for. Sometimes you're saying yes out of the comfort of the soulmate connection, because I feel like we are connected with certain people for certain reasons, for a certain length of time, and that duty, that time, those lessons have to be fulfilled before 2 people can officially, or 2 people are able to fully be out of each other's lives. And so when that's the case, when both are able to be out of each other's life, then you're kind of walking towards freedom, because that's when the ties are done. That's when you may suffer after a little bit because of all of what happened and all that you learned, and your self-growth, but just know that that's also the walking towards freedom. And you can get through it. It's really hard. It's really tough, but you can get through it. And there may not be answers bouncing from wall to wall to help you on how to get over it and how to be more, take it better, and how to understand it all. There may not be too many of that all around, but just know that if any of you need to talk about this, you can DM me at Community.tm, or you can look at the highlight on the Instagram page at Community.tm and send me an email. to further discuss how to get over it and how to feel better, because I definitely would have loved some advice. It's really hard to find that advice out there, because I feel like people love the idea of soulmates and like, oh, this person is my soulmate, da da da. But there's soulmates out there that are here to make you grow and learn your lesson, and you don't feel too well after that. And that's fine. Just reach out if you need to, okay? And yeah, give yourself time and realize maybe why it didn't work out, and do you really think it's still worth it to be seeking for the relationship? After the ties of the soulmate connection are done, you can really question, is this like still worth to seek? And it will seem like it, because it may have been your closest relationship that you've ever had with anybody. It may have been one where you were truly yourself. However, certain things just didn't work out. But you really have to think about the things that didn't work out, and you really have to think, is this the person that I would want to spend so much more time with, even after the connection? And once you kind of understand that and know what you want to do, and granted, sometimes it will be yes, because those good times were really, really good times, and that you were was like a you that you honor. However, take in the things that didn't work. Take in the things that made it hard. Take in the things that, were confusing and you weren't able to express yourself. Those really important aspects of yourself. Like, really take in those parts to really balance if this is what you want, or are you ready to kind of be open to moving on. In my case, I chose to move on because it's really important to do that. Really, really important to do that. And also, I'm learning a lot of new stuff about myself, which will be discussed in this series. And I feel like it's worth me dabbling into that things, because since I've been this way since, or been, thinking these ways or feeling these ways since a child. So that will come in this series, as you will see. All right, and just know that better is out there for you that fits your love language. I feel like just a few months ago, I did a quiz on what is my love language, and it's funny because it's like the things that I know about myself are the top things as my love language. I think like the first one was like acts of service, and then the second one was physical touch, and then it was like words of affirmations, receiving gifts. And the last one was like something else, receiving gifts, affirmations, and something else I can't remember. There was another one. And I was like, yeah, like I love when someone and me can encounter lots of acts of service and like doing things for each other. That's when I feel I'm the most helped. Like I feel like this Community.tm is an act of service, and I just love that. So I love when I get that in relationships, and especially now. And so if your top is an act of service, and the person that you were with in the soulmate connection, or just the person that you were with doesn't really do your acts of service, or whatever your first may be, if yours is receiving gifts and your partner only gives you one gift every like 3 years, then you need to make that decision if that partnership is right for you, and if you feel good that your partner acts that way, since your love language operates at a different tone. I don't think that, just go off of a relationship based off your love languages matching, but it does kind of help in understanding you a bit more, and understanding how that partnership will kind of go if things are kind of like not matching with how you feel. Take a drink of this juice. So similar to the last series, each episode was around half an hour long. if this series tends to go a little bit longer, then I will allow it to go a little bit longer. That's totally fine. I feel like I am free. Like, I feel the most free that I've ever felt, and it's crazy because it's like there was like the long extended years of me like being like, I don't want to be in relationships, but people are coming to me and I have to be in these encounterments, to like now I feel like free, and like now I can like dive into like the relationships that I want, and attract the people that I want to meet. And this is like the most free that I feel, and I feel like now I'm ready for it as well. So I feel like this is just perfect timing. This series will kind of be around that. So we have series 2 that's coming up. Series 2, episode 2, dating versus single. So once you're free, this is the next episode that you want to hear about, because I want to just give some, I don't have much tips really. I just want to kind of share my experience, and then also kind of connect the differences from dating versus being single. And I think that it ties in really nicely with this episode. I feel like it's very important to kind of have, I mean, everyone operates at a different way, in a different way, but I feel like if you have been dealing with heartbreak and now you're kind of in that freedom spot, here's the next kind of transition into dating versus single and what that is and the requirements, blah, blah, blah. I am not a relationship expert. This is just me going off of experience and also some little thoughts processes, so stay tuned for that. You can follow the Instagram page at Community.tm, and feel free to DM me with whatever you want to talk about, any questions you have. Leave any comments on the SoundCloud page, on the YouTube page, and I hope that you guys really enjoyed this episode. I feel like I kind of brought everything together to the best that I can, to the best ability I can. There's definitely more in depth, more mental work, more a lot of different types of things to do, but if you need any of that help, please email me, contact me, and let's spark that conversation so that we can be better when we deal with heartbreak to freedom. I'm in Toronto and I just want to go and take some photos, but I'm super happy to be filming this podcast right now, and I hope that you guys have a beautiful day. There's so much to be thankful for, so much to be grateful for, so much still to do, but know that so much positivity is surrounding around you and surrounding around this planet, and that we can accomplish anything that we set our minds to, because that is just who we are. That's just how it goes. And embody more positivity. Okay guys, have a beautiful day. Thank you.